everyone, welcome to Common Cues. Today's question is, why did Islam spread so quickly? How did it come about that for 3 years it only had a handful of followers, then suddenly spread? There are several explanations for this, and there is also one very significant factor. The factor is geography. The place from where Islam spread is a city called Mecca in modern-day Saudi Arabia. If you were to spread out the map of the world, you would see that Mecca is at the very center of that map. Islam has been spreading for around 14,010 years, since 610 AD. The initial spread of Islam was really slow. In the first 3 years after the first revelation, Islam gained only 30 followers. This all changed in the year 613 AD, for then Allah ordered the Prophet to admonish your nearest kinsmen. Within a half century, Islam has spread to all of North Africa, to the Middle East, to Central Asia. Within a century, it had spread halfway around the world. The persecuted Muslims fled Mecca, took Islam with them too. For example, in the year 613 or 615 AD, a group of Muslims fled from Mecca to Abyssinia at the request of the Holy Prophet. This event is called the First Hijrah. Mecca in the days of early Islam was the most important trading center in the Arabian Peninsula, with trading routes all the way to China and Africa, passing through the city. It is not surprising that Islam could spread so quickly because of this. The tribe of Quraysh, the famous and wealthy tribe in Mecca, would go on big trading journeys to Yemen and Syria during winter and summer journeys. The Holy Prophet himself, in his youth, had traveled to Palestine, Syria, and Phoenicia for trade. 7 years after the migration to Medina in 622 AD, the Holy Prophet sent envoys to the greatest emperors and kings of the time. He sent some of his most capable followers, who took with them letters for the emperors and kings, inviting them and their subjects to Islam. They traveled as far afield as empires of Iran, Byzantium, Egypt, and Rome with these letters. In AD 642, Iran became Muslim. By 641 AD, Egypt had also become Muslim. In Africa, Islam spread a little slower, but then also reached to South Africa from the middle of the 17th century AD, when the slave trade brought Muslim slaves from Southeast Asia to South Africa. One of the companions of the Holy Prophet visited China in 650 AD, and this date is considered the birth of Islam in China. The emperor of the time respected Islam and had the first Chinese mosque built. It still stands to this day. An interesting event in the spread of Islam is that Iran, after it had become Muslim, was twice conquered by non-Muslims. Once in the 11th century AD by the Seljuks, and once in 13th century AD by the Mongols. What is even more interesting is that both times the conquerors adopted the faith of the nation they had conquered and became Muslim. But how about the message of Islam itself? A message of love, mercy, and justice for peoples of all races and religions, especially at the advent of Islam, when nations were rife with racism and discrimination, oppression, and enslavement. The promise of eternal life in paradise for a life well lived in accordance with religious principles in this world. After all, what other religion has at its core a message to which peoples from all corners of the world respond so easily and immediately, and so universal that it provides a way of life from the African continent to China to Europe and all around the globe? That was it for today. Until next time.